So let's be honest. We all spend way too much time on YouTube, right? It's kind of like our digital living room. But have you ever really stopped to think about how this whole thing is actually built? What if I told you the blueprint, the entire instruction manual, has been hiding in plain sight this whole time? Well, today we're going to deconstruct it, piece by piece.
Which brings us to the big question. What is YouTube, really? I mean, think about it. Is it just a TV station, a social network, a massive search engine? The answer is, well, it's kind of all of the above and more. And to really get how it all clicks together, we have to switch gears. We need to stop just being viewers and start being, well, investigators.
And you know where our investigation starts? Right at the very bottom of the YouTube page. Yeah, with all those little words we scroll past a million times a day. You know the ones. About, copyright, terms. They look like boring legal stuff, right? But they're not. They are the actual building blocks. This is the DNA of YouTube. And that's what we're going to do here, piece it all together.
All right, so let's start with the stuff we all know best, right? The user experience. This is the front door, this shiny part of the machine that's built specifically for us, the viewers. Everything you see, from that homepage that knows you a little too well to the video player itself, it's all carefully, meticulously designed.
So this part is basically YouTube's official guide. It's their attempt to kind of pull back the curtain and explain the magic, like how that recommendation algorithm seems to read your mind. But, and this is a big but, it's really important to remember this is transparency on their terms. They're only showing you what they want you to see.
And this is where things get interesting, because the user experience becomes a two-way street. YouTube is always changing, always evolving, and when they invite you to test new features, they're doing something really clever. Yeah, they're getting free feedback for sure, but more than that, they're making you feel like you're a part of building its future. It's a brilliant way to create a sense of community, to make you feel invested.
Okay, so we've seen the shiny exterior, the part that's designed for us. Now, let's pop the hood. Let's really look at the engine room, the stuff that makes this whole massive thing actually run. This next layer, this is the core loop that powers everything you see on the surface.
And really, it all starts right here, with the creators. Think about it. Without creators, there's no content. Without content, there's no YouTube. It's that simple. They're the absolute lifeblood. We're talking about millions of people and businesses pouring their heart and soul into making the videos we all watch. They are the literal foundation of this whole ecosystem.
Okay, so if creators are the lifeblood, then advertising, that's the fuel that makes the engine go. This is the economic core of the whole operation. It's the system that lets creators actually get paid for all that work. And of course, it's how YouTube makes its billions. Every single one of those ads you skip, it's a tiny little cog in this absolutely massive financial machine. And then we've got this third, kind of invisible part of the engine room, the developers. Now, these are the tech-savvy folks who use YouTube's own tools, they're called APIs, to do things like embed videos on other websites or build new apps that use YouTube. They're the reason YouTube isn't just a website you visit, it's woven into the very fabric of the internet. And this is where you see how it all just locks together. It's this perfect self-sustaining loop. Check it out. Creators make the content. That content pulls in all of us, the viewers. Advertisers then pay to get their ads in front of us, and that money funds the creators to make more content. And all the while, developers are building tools that spread it all even further. Each piece feeds the next, creating this incredibly powerful cycle of non-stop growth.
But wait a second. You've got millions of creators, billions of viewers, and tons of advertisers, all jammed into one digital space. How does that not just descend into total chaos? Well, you need rules, lots of them. And that's our next layer, the rules of the road, the legal and social framework that tries to keep this whole thing from flying apart.
Now, it's super important to get the difference between these two. Think of terms as the legal contract you sign without reading when you show up. It's your agreement with the company. Policy and safety, though, that's more like the community rulebook. It's the list of what's cool and what's not cool for everyone to do, all in an effort to keep the platform, safe and working.
And this gets us to the fundamental deal of the modern internet, right? Here it is. You get this amazing, incredible service for free. And in exchange, you give them your data. The privacy policy is basically where YouTube lays out its side of that bargain. It's them telling you what data they collect, why they collect it, and what little levers you can pull to manage it. Now, copyright. This is probably one of the most critical rules for that engine room we were just in. This is the whole system that makes sure creators actually own the stuff they make. I mean, without it, why would anyone bother creating original content if someone could just steal it? The entire ecosystem would honestly just collapse.
And that's really the point behind all the complicated legal language. Copyright isn't just some abstract idea, it's a shield. It is the core tool designed to protect the actual people who make this platform worth visiting in the first place, the creators.
Okay, so we've peeled back the layers, right? We've seen the user experience, we've looked inside the engine, we've checked out the rulebook. But who's actually in charge of all this? Who's pulling the levers? Let's get to the final layer, the mind behind the machine.
These links, this is basically the official voice and ears of YouTube, the corporation. The About page, that's how it tells its own sanitized history. The Press section is how it broadcasts its message to the world. And Contact Us, well, that's supposed to be how we can talk back to them. It's all part of its carefully crafted corporate identity.
And there it is. That's the final piece of the puzzle. When you put all these little links together, you realize that behind the vibrant community, behind all the amazing creators, behind all the content, there's a giant, massive corporate entity. At the end of the day, YouTube isn't a public park. It's a product owned by Google, and it has business goals it needs to hit, just like any other product.
Which leaves us with a really big, really important question to chew on. We've just deconstructed YouTube and seen how it's a product built and run by a corporation. But for us, it acts like our digital public square. It's where our culture happens, where we debate, where ideas spread. So, as it becomes more and more central to our society, who should be writing its laws? Something to think about the next time you hit play.